All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mr. Brandon. I am one of the emerging technology programmers here at the Erlanger Stream Center. Today, what we're going to be talking about is Silhouette Studio. This is actually the software that we use for creating vinyl decals and other applicable stickers that you can make right here at the Erlanger branch. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is go ahead and open up our Silhouette Studio here, just like that. And I have some graphics that we're going to use here in a minute. But first, I want to show you some basic editing tools over here on the left-hand side. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some basic editing stuff. So over on the left, you have your basic cursor tool, which is how you move and relocate things. The very first shape that you can make are some basic, very basic shapes, rectangles, circles, pentagons, and you can just select the shape that you want. So I'm going to select the circle here, and then click your mouse out in the workspace right here in the middle of the screen, and you can make that as big or as small as you want to. You'll notice on the left side in the bottom that you have a size indicator. So this is telling you exactly how large the object is going to be when you're done. So if you want a 4-inch circle or a 5-inch circle, you'll need to pay very close attention to these numbers. Otherwise, you may end up with something that's too big or too small. The next option that you have is the freehand drawing tool. This is very good for artists or anyone who is artistically inclined. Unfortunately, I am not, so my drawing skills are pretty limited to stick figures here. Now, let's see here. The next thing that we want to talk about is the text tool. This is what's going to allow you for importing names, any places that you may want to add into your design. So for this, what we're going to want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and type out my name. So I'm going to put Brandon on there. Now, once we've typed out what we want, we again get the size indicator. So this is about 4 inches wide and about 1.25 inches tall. So that's pretty decently sized. What we can go ahead and do is we can change the size by grabbing these little white pin handles on the sides or the corners to make it larger or smaller. What we can also do is use the sizing button up here on our toolbar. This is if you know exactly what size point you want. You don't have to use this though. So if I know I want it to be a 100-point font, I can type in 100 and hit enter. And that's going to make my name a 100-point font. Most folks don't use that. They just kind of drag and drop until it feels right. We're going to go ahead and get rid of these circles by highlighting them and then hitting the delete key. Now, for this, we can actually still change the font. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to make this a little bit larger just so it's a little bit easier to see. And what we're going to do is change the font to the Death Star. For any of those folks who come into the Stream Center, you know I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. So you do not have to retype when you're changing the font. You can automatically change the point. So right here it's changed it to 154 and we're still in the Death Star font. Now, depending on what font you choose, you may or may not be able to bold, italicize, or underline. So for this font that I chose, I cannot bold or italicize it, but I can still underline it. And you can just pay attention to different fonts and how they work. But for this one, we don't have the bold or italicize. So for this, that is the basic editing. This I could actually save. So I can hit File and Save As. I can save that to my hard drive, and I'm just going to save it to my desktop. I'm just going to label that Brandon and hit OK. And I can turn that into a vinyl decal. Now, obviously, that would make my name about 10 inches wide, so that would be pretty big, but I can reprint that multiple times. I don't have to redo all my work. So if you make something really cool or spend a lot of time making an intricate design, you don't have to remake it every time you want to cut a new vinyl sticker. All you have to do is just save your file and then open it back up again. The other kind of vinyl creation is a little more complicated, but at the same time, it's also a little bit easier. It's actually starting with a pre-made design and then turning it into a cutting pattern. So what we're going to use is the Kenton County Public Library logo over here. And I've got two different files in front of me right now. One of them is good to use, and the other one not so much. The good one is the black and white one. The reason for that is the filters on the Silhouette software are actually optimized for black and white. So what that means is when we try and trace it here in a minute, black and white is going to be really easy. Full color, on the other hand, like the one I have over here on the right, is a little bit harder because what that means is I have to go in and trace individual parts one at a time. So it's not ideal. It takes a lot of extra work, which is, everyone knows, is not a good thing. So we are going to go ahead and delete our full color logo, and we are going to stick with our black and white logo. And I'm going to make this a little bit larger so everybody can see. So for this, when we start with a black and white graphic, a lot of folks will upload it into the Silhouette software and then try and cut it. That's not going to work because all the computer sees right now is actually a gray square on my screen. As far as the machine is concerned, this will get cut out as a giant square. What we want cut out are these black letters in our logo. So what we're going to do is over on the right-hand side tool panel, so you can see this little button right here, kind of looks like a butterfly or a piece of toast. That is a hotly debated topic in the Stream Center. I think it looks like a butterfly. Some folks think it looks like a piece of toast. You can make up your own minds. So once we click on the button, we're going to hit Select Trace Area. What this is going to do is allow us to come over here and tell the program what we want to copy. So right now, I want to go ahead and copy the whole logo. Once I draw my selection box and let go of my mouse, everything turns yellow. That is normal. A lot of folks get concerned when the color changes. We are not concerned with the color at all in this program. So with this, the yellow is highlighting what it can pick up. So you'll notice that since the filters are optimized for black and white, it's picking up everything and it's nice and neat and everything's where it should be. Now, if it was the full color image, you can still use it. So let's say if you have a logo and it's only in color, or if it's you can only find a good version of it in full color. That's fine. What you would do is come over here to the right-hand side where you see the threshold and despeckle threshold, and you can move these filters up and down until it looks right. You can kind of see if I slide this all the way up, it takes off the yellow completely. So we're going to slide this guy back down, and we're back to being yellow. The yellow is also a preview of what you're going to get when you finish the trace. So what we're going to do now is actually go ahead and trace this. Now you have to be careful at this step because there are two trace options that you use on a regular basis. And if you see over here on the right, you'll again see the little butterfly symbol right here. The first one is called trace, and that is exactly what it sounds like. It will trace everything as you see it right now. So all the letters are going to be exactly where they are, the leaves, the bars, and the circle will be exactly where they are right now. The other option that you have right here underneath is trace outer edge. That is also exactly what it sounds like. it'll only give you the very outside edge of an object. What I'm going to do is go ahead and click Trace Outer Edge and show you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and move our logo over here to the left. And you can kind of see on here, at first, it looks like it's okay. But once you look a little bit closer, you'll notice certain things are missing. So our O's no longer have holes. Our B no longer has a hole. Anything that has a hole on the inside of it is going to be missing. So that's where Trace Outer Edge may not work the best when you have an object that has text. So since our logo has plenty of words, we're going to go ahead and get rid of this because we want the holes exactly where they belong in our letters. So what we're going to do is bring our logo back over here. And we are going to select our trace area again. And we're going to highlight the whole logo. And then let go. And it's turned yellow again. So that's exactly where we want it. And this time, we're going to go ahead and hit Trace. That is going to give us this right here. So we see Kenton County Public Library, our logo, and everything's where it's supposed to be. All of the O's have their holes in them, the P's and the B's, everything looks good. This is, again, something that we can resize. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this guy since we don't need him anymore. So if I did not want a 10 by 10 inch logo, I can use this little pin handle to go ahead and make it smaller. So if I wanted a 3.5 by 3.5 inch logo, I could do that. You can also copy and paste these just like in a normal Word document or Excel document. So if I click on this and hit Control C and then hit Control V, I can copy it and I can get multiple logos on the same sheet. So right now you can see that I've got 2. I can get 3. And then I can copy those 3 and turn it into 6. And I could probably squeeze in another 3 and get 9. But we're not going to do that. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of most of these. And we're going to make this guy a little bit bigger so everyone can see again. Now, what you can do is if you double click on this, you're going to see these little gray dots come up on your item. So what this means is that I can go in here and individually delete these gray dots. So let's say if I like our logo, but I don't want this leaf right here. I can erase these dots right here and get rid of that leaf. Since I want all the leaves where they are, we're going to go ahead and leave him be. But that's how you would delete different parts of your diagram if you were wanting to delete certain things. With that, all you would have to do is File, Save As. We're going to save it to our hard drive, and we're going to name this KCPL logo. Hit OK. Now I would be able to save that to a flash drive and bring that into the Erlanger branch and have this cut out as a vinyl decal. That is where you would decide what color you want. So I know a lot of folks are seeing the design in red right now. It's not going to be red when it comes out. It's whatever sheet of vinyl you would enter into the machine. And you can kind of see it a little bit better if I come over here to send. It gets a little bit brighter over here on the left. Then you would have to choose what kind of material you're using over here on the right-hand side. It'll ask you what material and whether you want to cut, sketch, score, or stipple. So for this, we would use a glossy vinyl, and we would hit cut. And that would give us our nice little vinyl decal. Okay. I hope everyone enjoyed this tutorial. I have the stream website and information listed over here on the side of my screen. If anyone needs more help or would like to learn how to use any of the equipment in the Stream Center, you can feel free to give us a call at the number listed there, which is 859-962-4331, or you can put in an online request at kentonlibrary.org/stream.